As a kid, were you mentioned you were around all this. Were you theatrical? Were you outgoing? Were you rambunctious? What was your...
Big time. I did shows, and I was very rambunctious, and, I would... my mom would have to keep me from wandering out during the shows to try to entertain the audience myself. And I did a play. There's a couple stories, but I feel like I've told those stories. But this story is, I was in a play called Time Steps, and I played a little kid in it because I was like a 6-year-old kid. And at one point in the show, a kid in a show makes a lot of entrances and exits and, does a lot, but it's not like the show. If the show's not about the kid,
right,
they'll find a reason to get the kid out of there and get to what,
right, the meat and the bones.
But at one point in the show, I fall asleep in like my father's arms.
Okay.
And so I don't remember any of this with my mom. I kind of remember being in the show, but I don't remember this part of it. My mom tells a story of that I would fall asleep, and then the scene goes on. I'm supposed to sleep for like 10 or 20 pages or something. And then I'd be asleep like this, and then I would be like, let my arm fall. Or I might go like rub my nose and like make a little turtle noise. And blah, blah, blah. So the director finally told the dad, like, if she keeps doing that kind of stuff, you got to kind of like hustle her over your shoulder because she's pulling focus. And my mom said, Jamie, what are you doing? And I said, that's what I do when I sleep. Like, I was very offended that I was being judged by my movements. As a child, I was like, this is how you sleep. And think about it. Who sleeps like stock still? Dracula? So that's the story of my childhood.
That's fantastic. So you did it before you even remember. So it was like did she just need a child and you happened to be there, or did
I had
she
to audition?
Oh, you
she
did?
Was the director.
Oh, okay.
I had to audition. I did a few shows when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, my mom kind of pulled me out of it because I was getting like upset when I didn't get stuff. And my mom was like, she's out of it. Because my mom, being a theater person, but at her core, she was raised in rural Washington.
Okay.
She was like 4-H, and she was like, baking pies from scratch. So she's a real like, every night my mom read to me and sang to me. Like, she's a real down-home mom, but she had this other side of her. So as soon as I started being like, why don't they want me? She was like, pulled me out, which I'm forever grateful to her. Because I was getting like a little... I was feeling the rejection, and as a child, she didn't like that look. Of course not. So she pulled me out. Then I put myself back in it when I was in my teens.
Oh, okay.
And then I just started, like, basically when I went to high school, I did every project I could. And I did a show when I was 16 with this theater group called Mosaic Youth Theater that's still around in Detroit.
Okay.
I was in their launch cast.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I went to college, I majored in theater. And then I graduated from college and I went to Second City.
Oh, wow.
And I took the classes at Second City.
Okay, not to jump so quick.
That was a pretty fast jump.
That was huge.
And that brings us here today.
Did she think you had a knack for it at first, or did she just...
She knew I had a knack for it. Everyone knew that I was like, because I loved it. And what I'm talking about when she pulled me out wasn't theater necessarily. It was like I have headshots. Like I was getting commercials.
Toddlers and tiares type of stuff.
I was doing, not that.
But in that vein of seriousness.
Like I was auditioning. I had an agent.
Crazy.
Yeah, I had all that.
And that was just through her setting you up. Did you? Yeah. Is this what you wanted to do at that point?
100%.
Oh, okay, funny.
I think I wanted to do this from forever.
Since you were born, yeah.
Honestly, my parents kind of wanted me to major in other stuff in college. Of course, they were like, why don't you major in something? And I was like,
something that makes money.
I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And they were like, no, you're basically doing what we did. Focus up. And I would be like, I'm doing it. I actually double majored because of my parents.
Oh, that's
communications and theater. But from the day I've graduated, I don't even know where my diploma is. I lost it like that afternoon. Somewhere with my hat.
By the way, I would have loved to see your audition ritual for an audition of Sleeping. If you had to sleep for 20 pages, that would have been a great... You would have loved that night.
Who just lays there? You got to move your arms a little. You're like...